sale of shares in Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange to the public was oversubscribed by nearly 5 times. The DSC received bids worth 35.77 billion Tanzanian shillings for the 15 million shares on offer, worth a total 7.5 billion shillings. The exchange said it would accept an unspecified amount over and above its target in what is known as a green shoe option. The balance would be refunded to applicants. DSC intends to list its shares on the market's main segment for trading on July 12. The International Monetary Fund has welcomed the decision by the Central Bank of Nigeria to abandon its currency peg and adopt a flexible exchange rate policy, saying this was important to reduce fiscal and external imbalances. IMF spokesperson Gary Rice said the fund wants to see how effectively the Naira exchange market functions once the new float system is put into effect next Monday. Senior IMF officials, including the managing director, Christine Lagarde, had urged Nigerian officials to allow the Naira to fall to absorb some of the shock to the economy from a plunge in oil prices and revenues. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria says it's optimistic the Naira will settle at around 250 to the US dollar after an initial period of weakness following a flotation on Monday. Now, given the first indication of a target, the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele said that the Central Bank hopes the Naira will eventually trade at around 250 per dollar, a level that the President has approved. Nigeria's Central Bank said on Wednesday it will begin market-driven foreign currency trading next week, abandoning the peg of 197 Naira per dollar. Well, more reactions have continued to trill the new forex policy regime of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And one group that has canvassed for this over the past 1.5 years is the organized private sector in Nigeria. Now, this group has commended the move by the Central Bank to liberalize the market, but still have their concerns. I'm now being joined by an economist and, of course, the head of research at Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Segun Omishakin. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us, Segun.
Thank you for having me.
Finally, the CBN has succumbed to your request all these years. So are you happy with this move?
Good. Yeah, we are much more happy concerning what we've just heard, especially last month when CBN came out and said it's going to adopt this thing. As you rightly said, you know, we've been at the forefront of trying to convince the CBN to move from fixing the foreign exchange rates and let the Naira value be determined by the market forces. So we are very happy. And again, if you look at the general private sector environment, this is a good news, because much apart from the fact that you can have access to forex, it also creates a kind of a confidence from your side. You just know that this is what the rate is, and you just know that this can be determined, not that next time you hear that government is changing it. So it's a very good and welcoming.
Now, in terms of trade, in terms of manufacturing, businesses, what benefits are you expecting to see from this?
Yeah, you see, we've been one of the reasons why we believed, and we are still believing, that the best approach to this challenge is for the central bank to adopt a flexible exchange rate. It's because we look at the demand side and we say, if you keep rationing the FX to the extent that those people, the manufacturing sector, the other private sectors, the investors, are not able to access it, it discourages investment. And if investment is discouraged, it also affects what the government is doing through the fiscal side, trying to boost the economy to make sure that the economy is put on the right path. So for now, we want to believe that the outcome will be, first, the administrative bottlenecks and round tripping and speculation activities will be on the low side. And then you will see a more transparent, flexible, efficient allocation of this scarce resource. And again, it also boils down to the fact that if you look at the manufacturing sector, the story has been very bad. You see the PMI falling at least last month, 45.8 index point. And so we see that there's going to be a kind of improvement on that side.
Are we going to see an immediate improvement, I mean, for instance, for this month?
Yeah.
Would the PMI react to this?
Yeah, of course.
This month?
It's very possible, of course, before looking at the end of this month, when this is the pronunciation is made. It depends on when the actual, determination or the actual policy or framework will be in place. So, but we'll see that, let's say next month, there will be a very strong positive effect on the manufacturing sector.
Right. You obviously have your concerns. What are these concerns?
Yeah. Of all our concerns, we think we are very happy because the CBN is listening to us. And when you look at the pronouncement of CBN, you will see a serious clause. And that is the 41 items or are bad. According to the CBN, these items are still to be bad. But we think this is not the best approach. You cannot, at the same time, operate in a flexible model and then restrictive model at the same time.
No, but the reason, if you would recall, for banning these items, basically CBN wants the manufacturers, the business people to begin to look inwards. So if you look at some of these items that are banned, according to them, they are items that can actually, their raw materials can actually be sourced
now
here in Nigeria.
Let me tell you 2 points. Number one, you don't just discourage, you don't encourage domestic production of sets of items or products by simply discouraging or letting people not to have access to it. The most important thing that the government can do is to create an enabling environment first, to make sure that you don't just keep producing suddenly, and then to give them some time before those items could be phased out. That's point one. Point two, if you look at the fiscal side, to us at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we think the fiscal policy will have been more appropriate than the monetary policy. For instance, if you don't want an importation of a particular product, increase the import tariff. Let the market also determine that. You don't force people's taste. Do you get my point? So apart from of course, majority of the items we need to be producing them, but we are saying as at now, we don't have the capacity. Give these people the capacity to do that. That's point one. Again, if you look at this item, they have there's some impact on other sectors, of course, because if you look at the fact that some of these other sectors have been given the access to approve the CBN or through the primary dealer now to get whatever they want to get, they still need inputs from some of these items, and the moment they can't get that input or the moment we can't import them, it will still create a problem. So for us, we think the best thing to do is for the central bank through the CBN to look again into this policy of denying this 41 items, because there is no way you can begin to operate double standard in a single market. Now
I understand that the Central Bank of Nigeria will be, or about now, meeting the organized private sector.
Yes.
So what are you people asking them to do? What will be the focus of this conversation?
Yeah, the focus, of course, the CBN just said, okay, this is what we're going to do, and then they roll out the framework, and then this is how it's going to happen. There is need for the CBN, of course, and the stakeholders to meet and really discuss some details. But I think from our side, one of the major issues we're going to tell the CBN is what I'm saying now. Let's look critically also at the rationale behind just banning some of these items. And again, let's look at how this flexible exchange rate will play out, because one of the areas where the CBN talked about in this new policy is that is still going to be allocating some of them for some critical infrastructure, whatever. So we think on our side there is need for more transparency, and now would that be determined? Are we not going to the same hold problem? So I think these are the general issues that we're going to be engaging the CBN on to make sure that everything works out fine.
All right. Thank you very much, Segun, for your time.
You're welcome.
Right. I've been speaking to Segun Omishaki. He is an economist and, of course, the head of research at Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry.